So some things happened in life. Got a little crazy. Money was a little funny. Now you got a couple of collections on your credit report. Before you pay that mug outright, let's take a couple of steps first to try to save you some money. Ladies and gentlemen, it's me again. Yes, sir. It is Talk to Me Tuesday. It's me again, back with another spicy hot video built to help you out or just give you advice. I feel like I should include a disclaimer. This video, past videos, and future videos strictly these are tips. This is advice. Whether you take it or not, it's completely on you. Don't go to your mama talking about this is the gospel. It kind of is, but at the same time, this is advice. You do whatever you want with it. I'm just here to help. All right, so let's get into this week's topic. I'm gonna teach you how to fight these collections, man. So like I said, life got out of control. May have lost your job. May have forgot about a bill or two and it ended up in collections. Now you're panicking because it's on your credit report. You owe these people money. They're threatening you. All kinds of weird, wild things. Excuse me. Ooh, I'm only doing one take. Coughing happens. But again, you have a collection now. So what do you do? Like, in a lot of people's minds, the common sense would be, well, shit, I got a collection. They're saying I owe this amount of money, so I'm gonna just ball up my sleeve, sacrifice, and pay it. And then you pay it, and then they got your money, and the item is still on your credit report. So now they got your money, your credit's still looking funny, and now what do you gain out of this whole thing? Everybody won but you. So there's several things that you could do to battle the collection before you pay that mug in full, okay? So one of the first things that you want to do, establish where this collection account is, okay? So a lot of people sell debts, okay? So then it end up with let's just say Jimmy John Portfolio or ABC Collection Agency, or some companies are so big that they have their own collection department. You want to figure out where it is. If it's a sold debt, then what you want to do is you don't want to initially take that first offer for what they give you because they're going to want it in full. But you want to see if they are a company that is legally allowed to, get those collections. It's a simple letter. You can say, hey, don't admit nothing now, but say, hey, I understand that you guys say that I allegedly have a collection with you. Is there any way that you could prove that you are legally allowed to recoup funds as a collection agency? It's going to take them a little bit. So they're either going to come, I've seen this now. They're either going to come back with a letter saying, hey, under mandate blah 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 blah, us as a company, we are allowed to recoup funds or whatever. Or if they're not, then of course they will say, hey, our bad, we didn't know you was that smart, so we are going to cease and desist on collection attempts or something like that. Something wild. They're probably going to sell it to somebody who is legally allowed to recoup those funds. So be cognizant of that. All right, so if it's like one of those in-house things, like Capital One, they're really good with having in-house things. So at that point, of course, I mean, you could technically ask them to verify that this collection is yours. More than likely, they're going to say that it is. So, I mean, it's not an option for you at that point. All right, so this is the next thing that you could try. If it is a sold kind of deal and they are able to legally collect funds for this collection, tell them to prove that the debt is yours. Send you something with your wet signature or something like that. Now, this is a point of controversy, because some people will say, well, they don't owe you that. Or some people will say, well, I mean, they do owe you that. So they're either going to say, hey, we were able to verify that this debt is yours, or they're going to say, we couldn't verify that this debt is yours under whatever Fair Credit Reporting Act or whatever that they say, whatever mandate has elapsed in that point in time. So then, of course, they're going to cease collection attempts, right? You know, these collection companies, not the in-house stuff, but the collection companies, they buy these debts at a fraction of the cost. So if your collection was like $1,500, maybe they paid $200 for that debt. So they're trying to recoup that $200 plus the rest, and that's going to be straight up profit for them. So we're not in the business of funding trips to Maui or anything of this nature as a unit. We want these people eating fries and cheeseburgers, right? So we want to do whatever it takes to have the advantage here, okay? So there's that. So let's just say they are legally allowed to recoup funds, and they are able to, quote unquote, provide the information that the debt is yours. Okay, so at this point, like I said, if it's one of those debts that was sold, then you may want to start negotiating. You could also do this for in-house debts as well. You start negotiating. So they want 15, so you just start talking your way down. It's really good for those sold collections. The in-house stuff, they'll eventually start haggling with you, but it's not going to be immediate from the things that I've seen. Maybe others have seen something different, but what I've seen, this is my experience with helping people. So the sold debts, they're going to start haggling. They're going to start allowing you to haggle. They might even start haggling first and say, hey, we know you owe $1,500, but we'll settle for $7. And some people be like, okay, that's cool. Or some people like, see if I can get lower than that. Can you do 5 on a payment plan? 500 on a payment plan. They may go for it, they may not. You may figure, well, 700 isn't really that bad. I could work a couple overtime shifts and I can pay it. I mean, this is both, I don't know, I said for sold debts, but this is good for in-house collections and sold collections as well. Like, you got to go through steps to prevent from paying this whole thing if they're willing to negotiate. Now, let me also tell you this. If you start fixing your credit and you don't go through these steps first, then you might have been on the way to getting sued anyway. So they're just going to go ahead and they're just going to be like, hey, we're going to sue you. We feel like we're going to recoup these funds. Their collection's probably been on the books for a couple of years anyway. So you actively fixing your credit or allowing someone to help you fix your credit didn't trigger the lawsuit. It was coming anyway, and they were going to sue you. But usually that comes later on down the line. That's not an immediate thing. Like there's certain things that they can't do to you. They're not supposed to threaten you. They're not supposed to threaten to garnish your wages or anything like that. They're basically supposed to say, hey, you owe this. Let's set up a payment plan in a nutshell. And if you do get harassed like that, then of course, if you have the propensity to do so, then of course you can sue them for harassment, if that's what you want to do. Again, disclaimer, all of this is advice. You do what you want to do with it. I am not a lawyer. You can also get a credit lawyer to help you out with this kind of thing as well. But I'm just telling you the things that I have seen and the stories that I have heard as a person who helps people with their credit. Now, there is there's also this cool mythical thing, right? Some people offer it, some people don't. When you have a collection and you've agreed to terms, there are some companies that will allow you to do a thing that's called pay for delete. These people also may offer you this. If they don't, to see if you can bring it up, right? So what this means is you pay the settlement, and in return for you paying this settlement, then they will agree to delete the item off your credit report. Some people will try to BS you and say, well, we don't have access to the credit bureaus to be able to delete this information, so we can't offer you that. But the item got on your credit report some kind of way with their company name on it. I doubt the company that sold them the debt did that. So that means they've got some kind of access somewhere. But don't let them make a fool out of you. But regardless of what arrangement that you make with these collections, get everything in writing. Get every agreement in writing. Do not depend on this call is on a recorded line. Don't depend on that, okay? Because all of a sudden it's going to get lost. Or don't depend on a case number and notes and all of that. I mean, you can have that, but still everything that you want that agreement in writing, and you want to put that writing somewhere tucked away. You got a fire safe box or something like that, just in case on the odd suspicion that something were to come back or whatever. Now, if the company does not allow, if you haggle and they don't have the agreement where you can pay for delete, then of course then you could do the whole factual disputing thing for your credit, or however you choose to dispute it. Don't do it online though. To get the collection removed from your credit report, it works, it happens. Paid collections are removed all the time. For whatever reason, the credit bureau feels as if they want to go along with you and remove it. Again, none of this is linear with the removal process. If you choose to do it via paid source or on your own, so you will be sending several letters to the credit bureau. You might get lucky and they delete it on the first round, or they might delete it on the 6th round. You don't know, but you want to be persistent with it. But all of this is just to say, explore your options before you pay these collections now. Don't just be gung-ho to pay the whole thing unless you're a baller. Unless you want to do that kind of thing. Unless you want to brag about it. Hey, I owed them $1,500. I wrote them a check and told them to be on their way. If that's your thing, then go for it. But for those who would like to maybe save a couple $100, hey man, you may want to take that advice. Or not.